What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. It is the first day of July, and we're done with June, man. It's July time now. Here we are at about 107K, just above there. 9 hours and 40 minutes left in the day. Looking like we are seeing a little bit of downside, but let's see if it persists if we go lower. Looking at the daily RSI, I'm not going to lie, it looks like we'd want to go down to the oversold zone, just the way that it is, right? But perhaps what we've done is we've substituted a downward trend for a sideways trend, and we're in transition of going into an upwards trend that'll take us into the overbought zone. That's very possible. Finding support here is what Bitcoin likes to do typically, whenever it's in a bullish phase, at least. If we're getting bearish, maybe we do go to the oversold zone, but that can happen. I want to be very, very clear, as we have basically for the past week or two said, that from a low to a high point, we could go down to this 1272, 1618 area, something at about 96 to 95K at the least, maybe not quite as low as 92K, but something that's below 94K at the most is what I would expect, or not even expect, but just if we were to go lower, that's the area that I would consider that we go to if we were to take out this low. I don't think that we're going to take out this low, however, and my reasoning for that, my rationality for that, is that we're doing something different up here than we did the last two times, right? The first time we rejected down immediately. The second time we rejected down after the first day or the second day or whatever. Here we've been consolidating in this range for about a week now, right? It's like the sixth day, literally, right here, right now. And I think that different behavior begets different results. Now, can we go lower than this? Yes, and in fact, I think that we will. We probably do go a little bit lower than what our low is today. We're at 106.3K. In all honesty, that could have been the low, guys. It's very, very possible that could have been the low right there, and that we could be moving up higher. Unfortunately, we won't really know until we're above 108.4K. Once we get above 108.4K, that's whenever it's time to consider the price going higher, and probably even consider that we're going to see new all-time highs in a very, very, very short amount of time, you guys. If we're looking at this on hey, bud. You guys see him? Let me just see if I do this. Come here. 1 hour, he'll do it if I just ignore him. But every time I put the camera down, that's whenever he walks away, actually. So, but he's not walking away yet, so I'm a little bit surprised. Looking at this on a 1 hour time frame. There he is. You see him? Yep, there he is. He's such a good boy. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's my little buddy. 1 hour time frame here. $107,000 again, just above there. We've got some volume coming in on the downside, which is nice, taking us up. That much volume, though, not really taking us anywhere. It makes me think we want to go lower. We did get a higher high, which is nice. You haven't seen a higher high really throughout this whole time, and that is a higher high, but the reaction you're getting, I don't know, man. That might have been a place to trap the long. So if anybody went long there, your contribution to the bears, I guess, will be greatly appreciated for the time being. Hopefully you're not using too high of leverage, right? Looking at the 1 hour RSI, yeah, I would be bearish. I would be. I think you're going to get at least one more interaction with that oversold zone, whether it's into the oversold zone or at the oversold zone, maybe something around this low. That makes sense to me, a little bit lower. But if you get some sustained readings above the 50 here, if you really certify that you're breaking out of this like kind of downward range, then maybe that can change, right? But it would probably be a couple hours before we really figure that out anyways. This hour, 37 minutes left. It's looking like it wants to come back down, if we're being fair. So we're going to probably look at the downside then. Let's see, low to high relatively speaking. Oh yeah, look at what you did. Found support down here, went all the way up to your golden ratio to find resistance. You're probably going to go to the 1272 to the 1618. So 105.7 to 104.9, 105K just below there. That's probably the area that you're going to go to find support. And then whenever you do find support, you'll move up in spectacular fashion, and we will likely see new all-time highs either by the end of this week, man, or sometime next week. It is Tuesday. We've got a lot of week left in us. That's a nasty-looking candle on the 1 hour time frame there. Let's see. Looking at the 4 hour time frame, and the one hour RSI does look pretty weak, right? You're basically living. This is where you've taken up residence, is below the 50. I would think that you get at least 2 interactions in the oversold zone, but that doesn't mean that it has to happen just because I think that it has to happen. It doesn't have to, but it wouldn't surprise me. And getting into the oversold on the 1 hour would implicate that we see lower lows. Here we are. It almost looks like it wants to be a horizontal channel. Almost looks like it does want to be a horizontal channel because of just where the resistance is, where the support is. But I don't think it is. Maybe what it is some kind of megaphone. We've got a higher high. Maybe we're going to form a lower low. Maybe it's a megaphone pattern. Wouldn't that be some? Wouldn't that be perfect if that's actually what it was? 4-hour RSI. Bouncing off the 40 is a good look. You've got an hour and 35 minutes left. Let's see how it goes, right? And in that hour and 35, you're dealing with this rather nasty looking 1 hour candle. Bitcoin can be volatile, though, you guys. I mean, we could absolutely, just because it looks like this now doesn't mean that it can't come up. And if it does by the end of this hour, I mean, that might be a powerful signal that we are reversing here and that we are moving up, which would be spectacular. 4-hour time frame. Looking at this here, from a high, or sorry, a low to a high. I'm going to take this high, not the fake out highs. I would think it makes sense we go just a little bit lower, right? 105.8 thousand, 104.3 thousand, somewhere in that zone, right? Right around this 236,382. That was a target that we had a little while ago. We've put it on, taken it off, put it on, taken it off. I guess we're putting it on again, and that's okay. That's totally fine. 4-hour RSI coming down this much, and we're still just in this range. We haven't really gone, like, look at from a high point to a low point. Look at how far you've gone down in the RSI, and really you're only down like $1,000 on a $107,000 asset. Like that's not a bad reaction at all. That's actually a very bullish reaction, but you still might have some lower prices to go. Bitcoin has had a relationship with its 236 recently, so it's very, very possible that we do find support at that $105.8 thousand level. Time will tell. We'll see. And if not, if we go lower, that's fine. That's totally fine. Daily time frame here. Again, the daily actually makes me think that we would go lower, right? Like the daily's the one case, the RSI, that has me worried that we could go lower, but I shouldn't even say worried because I'm not worried if the price goes down there, right? That's just an opportunity to buy more cryptos, if anything. I mean, if Bitcoin drops, let's just say for all intents and purposes, Bitcoin drops down to about just below 96K, right? Because that's like the minimum target. That's a 10% drop. If it were to drop all the way down to like just below 93K, that's a 13% drop. If Bitcoin drops 10 to 13%, the average altcoin will likely drop 20 to 30%, somewhere in that range, right? And if that happens, that's fine. That's just a little shakeout before we pump. That tends to happen actually a lot, but I think that's what this was. I think that's what the past few weeks have been, right? The past month of June was. It was a couple of shakeouts, and we're ready to run, you guys. And again, we can see the RSI has me a little bit worried, right? A little bit concerned, but the price action is what helps validate that concern might be silly. It might not be necessary because I really do believe that we're going to move up here pretty soon. And then again, the 4-hour RSI, while momentarily bearish, is overall bullish. I like what we're doing here. So keep going back and forth. I'm thinking we probably do find support around like 105,000, 104,000, something like that. I doubt we go below this low here. When we do start moving back up, looking at the daily time frame from a high to a low, look at that. We're right at the golden ratio here. Very, very bullish consolidation too. We would likely see 116K to 120K really, really fast. And then from there, we're going to move up to about 130K, 140K. Beyond all that, right, we're going to go up a lot in a very short amount of time. My expectation overall would be that by the end of August, maybe, what was it? It was sometime, it was 6 to 7 weeks. That's what it was. We did some long form analysis on the weekly time frame and determined that the average for this bull cycle, the average run time of a move up whenever you get into the overbought zone is about 6 to 7 weeks. We have 5 days left in this week, assuming that we close this week green, and I think we will, and we get into the overbought zone. 6 to 7 weeks from now would be August 11th to August, technically the end of that week would be 24th, so August 11th to August 24th. If next week is the week that we get overbought, not this week, maybe this week closes green, but it doesn't close as green as we're thinking it would, then maybe instead it's like the very, very end of August going into September that we find resistance all the way up at about 180K. That's the end goal. That's where I think we're going. I mean, not the end goal. The end goal is 500K. We're going to get there too. I guess the end goal is $1 billion, but we're going to get there one way or another. We just got to wait. It's going to take time. But I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, all right? And buy the dip. All right, bye-bye.